In this video, I will be speaking with a residential painter. There will be scraping, caulking, scraping, 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 scraping some more, and then masking, then lunch, and then painting. How's it going?
Good. How are you? I didn't know if you were a medium or a large, but I got you an official shirt.
Oh, thank you.
Ready to rock? Well, it's gonna be a fun day. Hopefully we get some cloud cover so it doesn't get too hot. But we're doing a tiny house. It's really small, so it should be a 2-day house. I start with a walk around, and since we're spraying today, we're gonna take off the light fixtures and the address and anything else that needs to be taken off. Then we'll do a scrape and caulking run. Then we'll do a masking run, and we'll spray. A lot of people are like, are you gonna pressure wash the house before? And I have a pressure washer, but I hardly ever pressure wash because really what we want is most of the dust off. And if there's stuff that's loose, I'll be scraping that off anyway. So now we're just looking at things that we want to take off. Those, I don't take off those kind because it's easy to mask around them and spray in there. This side of the house is pretty dang dusty. I'm still not going to spray, I'm just going to sweep it off as I'm going. This is mostly because I feel like this house is going to be fast enough that it won't be all the way dry by the time we spray, and you definitely don't want to seal in any water. This kind of stuff that was added after the house was painted, we'll just paint in so it looks just like the house. This will be painted trim color tomorrow, but I generally prep all the trim too before we even spray because it's just part of the house. I've had people set up lawn chairs and watch me, which is fine. It feels a little weird. People will often be like, it's taking a long time. I really expected that you'd be painting by now. And that is the difference between professional painting and not professional painting. The better the prep, the better the paint job will be. Never seen one of those. I'm kind of just doing a cursory wipe off right now. I'm going to do a lot more as we go, but mostly this passes to take things off. I do have a leaf blower that I'll use, mostly for foundation. All this aftermarket stuff that stands out like a sore thumb right now will be getting painted beautiful blue. Almost tempted to hose this down. It's very dusty. And you don't have to have all of it off. I mean, the paint will save you a little bit, but I don't want to be painting over a bunch of dirt. If these are screwed on, I'm going to take off the end one because that'll make it easier. All right, first pass, check. Sometimes I combine the scraping and caulking pass, but I don't like that because when you caulk, it gets your hands all gross. So I'm just going to do a scraping and brushing off dust pass first. Stymied by the last screw. Oh, that'll work for our purposes. Alright, scraping pass. Scraping, dusting. Now, overcast we like, what we don't want is rain. You know what I forgot for the scraping pass? My protective lenses. How good the leaf blower would get this dust off. Now we gotta go all the way back around. Inefficient, inefficient. Come on, Haan. I'll end up walking around this house a whole bunch, but usually I try to be more efficient about it. Protective lenses. So, fun fact, went to the eye doctor yesterday and he was like, any concerns? And I said, well, I've been painting houses for the last 2+ years. And so I much more regularly than the average person get paint in my eyes because when you spray it's atomized in the air and There's always some that goes in your eyes. And other stuff, so if you see anything really like related to that with my eyes, can you tell me? And so he did tell me that my eyes look good, but the white part of your eye, it can like grow extra tissue on top of it, I guess. I was like a callus for your hands, and he's like sort of like that, but if it's irritated consistently, it'll get thicker, and that's not a good thing, and you have a little bit of that. So I was like, the problem is if you wear these while you're spraying, pretty soon you won't be able to see because they get painted. But I'm gonna try to wear them like when I'm scraping and other stuff with little particles that might be floating around, because I get stuff in my eye and
it's annoying.
It's annoying, yeah. So I'm gonna see if this will work to see nothing. Alright, I'll just do it under the foundation, and then that'll at least make this pass worthwhile. Okay, we'll call that the leaf blower pass. Makes me feel good about charging it up this morning. Back to the scraping pass. Really nice when you have houses that have gates on both sides. I'm fully admitting that this is not the efficient way to do this. I'll make the argument that if we hosed this house down, we probably wouldn't be able to spray today, which would be even less efficient.
What's your official job description?
Job description?
Yeah.
I think my official job description that I put on my Facebook page is, I'm a professional residential painter, and I do exteriors, interiors, fences, flooring, and I just kind of list all the stuff that I can paint. So, professional residential painter. My business license says residential painter and artist, because that was something you could select. And I have done a couple murals and logos and stuff. Oh, that reminds me, I want to show you what I did at Bethlehem yesterday. Like, how do you do your estimation? How do you set your rates and everything? And at first, when I did it, I was kind of unscientific, and I would just kind of look at the house and think, I do the cost estimate, like how much is the materials I'm going to need for this house, and then how much do I want to make for this? And so I painted this big house for a friend and former colleague, and he was like, "Are you making enough for this?" And I was like, "Yeah, I think so." And he's like, how do you figure it? Do you have an hourly rate? And I was like, no. And he's like, that's what you should do, because then you know you're getting what you're worth, and it'll be more consistent across houses. And it was like so elementary. I was like, yeah, why am I not doing that? So then I was like, what do you think my hourly rate should be? And he goes, he worked at Windsor Plywood at the time. And he said, well, we have guys who do, our guys who go out, our contractors who go out and do special work, they're like $85 an hour, which seemed pretty high to me at the time. So I like tried that out in my calculations, and they seemed really high. So I used that, and then I would like knock it down a little bit. But then I started asking people who had got multiple bids, especially if I got the bid, I would say, would you mind telling me, like what the other bids were, or if I was close or way lower or way higher. Those first few, they were like, oh yeah, you were by far the lowest. So that's why we went with you. And it's like, okay, that's cool. And I'm a one-man company. Anyway, my friend was like, you're doing as good or better than a lot of these guys, so make sure to charge what you're worth. This year, as I'm getting faster, like a house that used to take me 4 days, I can do in 3. So I actually raised my rate a little bit since I'm getting more work done in the time. People decide to use me because they like the idea of having it be one person, especially on like interior stuff. Also, I have kind of a pretty nice background in Christian education and law enforcement. I end up doing a lot of work for like widows and stuff. You can imagine, I mean, you're a 75-year-old lady who lives alone, letting a big man into your house with you, that could be risky, right? I present a nice young man who's not very risky. I don't want to advertise because I don't want to be the guy who's like, yes, I'll paint your house 2 years from now.
Yeah.
Because I'm booked out.
What type of education do you need for that job?
The education you need is basically like in the form of an apprenticeship. Like you'd want to work for a painter. The things you learn in school that apply to this job are mostly the business stuff.
Yeah.
So I was gonna get 7 gallons, but when they upgraded to Emerald, I got 6. So those are some of those things you just kind of learn by experience and like, oh, I'm done and I still have 4 gallons left. Dang it.
What are some of the places that you've worked?
I'm gonna show you. I don't know if it'll show up on your camera, but I want to show you I did this container yesterday. Well, over the last couple of days. Painted a giant BL on it. I did a time-lapse too of it. And you'll see me pick up all my drop cloths. Pull the... I've done a few murals in my life. Only one paid. And it was for a lady. Her husband had passed and he was like super into beer. So she wanted a mural of a field of hops. And I was like, oh, that's gonna be interesting. So we researched online and looked and found something that she liked. And then she wanted the Horse Heaven Hills in the background. So we did that in her guest room. Like it's right on the end of the bed, so that the guests who lay in the bed see this. It's a perspective one, so it's like walking down one of the rows of the hops. She's now moved to Florida. Worst injury I've had on this job so far came from falling off. What my uncle always told me is totally true. Stay with the ladder. But I didn't spill the paint. A lot of people in this business are kind of like, you can do this business kind of fly by night, which is to say, you know, you say I paint houses, someone hires you, you say I want only cash so I don't have to, you know, pay taxes and do all that stuff, and then you can paint their house and, you know, exchange money for your service. Yeah. Although it does suck to pay taxes. On the other hand, whoa, that was a surprise. Did you get that? I want you to slow-mo that in your video. What was I saying?
What music do you listen to?
I like 80s classic rock and metal, like Metallica and Guns N' Roses and that kind of stuff. Look at that. Oh yeah, money.
That looks safe.
Yeah. So after our break, we'll do a priming pass, then we'll do a couple of masking passes. We're going to use this plastic for the middle parts of the windows, go around the edges with paper, and then we'll spray. Then we'll probably have lunch, then we'll spray. Done with the priming pass.
So what ladder is this that we're using?
This is Golden Boy. You can probably figure out why.
What type of pants do you wear?
I just wear cool hiking pants. Cool. Phases of paintbrush in my business. Brand new, beautiful brush for finish work and trimming. After it does several projects with that, goes down to primer duty. Third phase, duster brush. This is the last phase before garbage. So if you do it right, this brush is probably like 3 years old. Go Purdy. Ooh.
So how expensive is that paint?
This bucket of paint here, 5 gallons, cost about $260. Once we start seeing that paint come out of here, we prime the line. So this is just water in the line from the last paint job. As soon as we start seeing it flow thick blue, we know we're ready for paint. It'll like bubble out, and then we'll start getting paint. Here it comes. All right.
So what's your favorite thing about this job?
Freedom, just doing the work, getting the job done well, and then going home and being done.
What's the worst thing?
This nastiness, being sweaty and gross and hot, and the sun beating on you, and working hard in the sun. If you don't work, you don't make money.
Of course, we had to stop at Zips.
All right, product placement. Zips.
Thank you for watching. I would like to point out that Mr. Haan gave me a very, very cool shirt. Remember, Christ is risen. Until next time, I'm your host, Joel MacDuff, and this has been Faces Talking. A huge thanks to Mr. Haan for allowing me use of his time. Thank you.
You are welcome.